Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Madam Secretary. Good to see you again. I want to start with an issue that's important to a sizable population in my district in the Battle Creek, Springfield area of Michigan. That is home to about 5,000 Burmese citizens. And last year, the Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, issued a directive that prohibited Americans from providing any such services, directly or indirectly, that would benefit the Myanmar oil and gas enterprise, also known as MOGI. Unfortunately, and I'd like to, Mr. Chairman, submit a copy of that for the record.
Without objection.
And last year as well, in consultation with the State Department, Treasury, you determined that MOGI is a political subdivision of the military junta in Burma. So, in other words, the Burmese government. The MOGI generates $1 billion annually, and by far is their largest foreign revenue for Burma and, by extension, the junta. Unfortunately, late last year, Treasury stopped short of listing the MOGI as a specially designated national, which, as you know, not only blocks the assets, but then puts other countries on notice that they shouldn't be doing business with this designated entity. So, Madam Secretary, why hasn't Treasury used its authority to block the MOGI from receiving financial support from around the world, which is funding an abusive government? And frankly, what I'd like to know is, what would you have to say to my constituents, and what am I supposed to tell these folks, many who have fled the civil war in Burma, the genocide that's happening, the continued bombings that are happening for their family members that are still in these horrific conditions?
Well, we absolutely are committed to denying the Burmese military sources of funding that they are using to suppress.
So why would you leave them off? Why would you leave them off that particular list?
We did announce sanctions relative to MOGI, and we issued a directive that prohibits U.S. persons from providing financial services to MOGI for its benefit. I
understand, but again, you left them off a list that would have toughened those up. And frankly, in response to that last week, along with my colleagues from this committee, Mrs. Wagner and Mr. Sherman, we introduced a bipartisan Brave Burma Act, which requires the president to determine on an annual basis whether to impose stronger blocking sanctions on MOGI, on the Myanmar Economic Bank, and foreign persons operating in the jet fuel sector of the Burmese economy. That's where those bombings are coming from, and jet fuel is a critical piece to the junta continuing the genocide that's there. So, Mr. Chairman, clearly, I believe more work needs to be done, and I look forward to having this bill actually be a part of a markup. But, Madam Secretary, I need you to take a closer look at that because we, frankly, need your support.
Well, I promise that I will do that, and we certainly are concerned with the situation in Burma, contemplate additional sanctions actions, and we'll work with you on that.
I'm not going to get into this right now, but we have seen some of those sanctions slip in other areas like Iran and Russia, and I'm concerned about that, and we can continue that conversation.